Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast called She Speaks Her Mind. I'm so happy you guys are here today. This podcast episode is going to be an episode where you should just relax, chill out, make it seem like we're hanging out because currently at this moment it is 12 a.m. in the morning on a Friday night. I really planned this out, guys. I really thought to myself and I said, if I'm not going out and partying, being out with friends, not going out and drinking, going to bars, not like that's a bad thing or not, but I'm just saying if I'm not doing any of those things and, having a night to myself, I might as well just record myself a little podcast episode for you guys. So we are coming out with a banger for our 10th episode. We are in the double digits now, and I should have been maybe in my 20th or 30th episode if I continuously was pushing myself to post every single week, but we did not make that happen. But we are trying. I am truly grateful for this community because you guys are the ones that are always asking, when's your next podcast episode out? There's lots of you guys out there that are just itching for the next episode and wondering what episode it will be about. So we're just gonna get right into it because as you guys know, this episode is all about spending time alone, really made me love life, and just by doing these things alone has helped me get out of my comfort zone and also has made me confident in ways where I was never like this a few years ago. But here we are today. We have a podcast out, and who would have thought? I'm very excited for this podcast episode because I know this one's just gonna be a chillax and more of a hangout type of episode because it's nighttime. I feel like I'm just talking to my best friends, which is you guys. It's just very intimate. So before I actually start talking, I'm going to order myself some sweets because I have been craving apple pie and ice cream from McDonald's. Honestly, one of my kinks right now, just sometimes eating it after dinner and I would order it. And maybe that's not a good thing where I just keep ordering McDonald's because I need to take it down a notch, not make this a habit. But since it is a Friday night, I wanted to treat myself with some ice cream and apple pie. And by the time it gets here, we're probably already going to be way into this episode. I have been craving this all day. I just wanted to wait and order this once I started recording my podcast. If you guys aren't watching this right now, I'm on my phone. I'm scrolling through Skip the Dishes, trying to find apple pie and some ice cream. But after tonight, I'm going to take a break. I promise. If you guys hear some pitter-patter, oh my god, he's playing with his toy. If you guys hear my dog playing with his toy, I know it's gonna get annoying, but I'm gonna have to take his toy away if he continues on to keep playing with it. So just because it's cheaper to get 2 baked apple pies, I might as well get it and get some ice cream with it. And don't be ashamed of treating yourself to desserts like this because not every day is gonna be like this for you. And if it is, then it is gonna be a problem like it is gonna be for me. But I know my boundaries. I know my self-control when it comes to eating sweets. But like I said, it's a Friday night. I'm here to chill out and have a good time. If I can find the ice cream, maybe it's telling me not to have it. $12.42. I could have just drove my ass to McDonald's, but we're not going to do that. So as we wait for my baked apple pie, I'm making it seem like that we're both waiting for the apple pie when I'm the one that clearly just going to be eating it. But we can enjoy it together. You can smell the aroma through the camera. So I feel like nowadays, when you spend time alone with yourself, it can be a little controversial to some people because I guess it's not glorified or it's not normalized for people to be spending time with themselves, which is okay. I get it. I'm going to get right into it right away, talking about why we shouldn't be spending too much time alone, but also the 80-20 rule and balancing everything out with taking care of yourself, doing things for yourself, making time for yourself so you can have that time for other people and showing up for them as who you really are. There is a difference between spending time alone with yourself and isolating yourself. If I'm needing to fill my own cup, I have to do what's right for me to take care of myself. Do all my self-care girly rituals, and especially talking about this part is doing things on my own to be confident. So now I'm going to preface this before I really start and get deep into this podcast episode. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to take that away from him again. He won't stop. I feel so bad. I took away his toy, but I know he really wanted it. And the thing is that my dog likes to play with his toys or just do something while I'm talking to a camera. I don't know what it is, but he just gets rambunctious when I start talking. Anyways, sorry, Pebbles. Moving on, I'm gonna have to preface this so it doesn't become a whole issue, but I know the people that listen to this podcast, you guys know me and I know you. You guys are here because I'm your comfort person. You're just wanting to find a podcast that you can relate to. And it's not a podcast that you're here to judge, because we're all here in this world to, figure our shit out and just live in this physical realm. So you probably have heard of this quite a few times, but you know that as humans, we are social creatures. So we have to socialize and, be with people that we actually love, to be nurtured, because that's what it was like thousands of years ago. You would have your own little tribe, you have your own wolf pack. And if you weren't part of that tribe or wolf pack, no one cared about you. So at the end of the day, it's important to have the people that you actually want in your life. And it's not just, random people that you're bringing in, because they were never meant to be in your tribe in the first place. But now, fast forward to today, and with how advanced everything is, I do really think it's very complicated to have deep social bonds with everybody that you're going to meet. So it is really important to have those deep, meaningful friendships that you're going to want to keep. So I'm glad I kind of got that out of the way, because I know people are going to say spending time alone is unhealthy and toxic. We're going to dive deep right into it and open your mind a little bit with how you might see my perspective. And you might not agree with everything that I'm going to have to say, and that's okay. The point of this episode is just really teaching you guys how to make you love your life even when you're alone, because when you have those times when you might not have anyone by your side, or you just don't have the support system that you want, and you might be in situations that you have to think for yourself, those are the times when you end up needing to fend for yourself and thinking for yourself when you spend that time alone, because you end up finding out who you are and knowing your likes and dislikes. So I hope you guys have your water bottle, because I have my pink water bottle here that I always have with me. So a little water break. So what I realized when you are spending time alone and intentionally being with your own thoughts, being alone is a powerful tool that will drive your personal growth. Being in my early 20s and before my early 20s, it was a really hard time for me, because I needed, keyword, needed. I needed to be surrounded by people. I felt like I needed to be accompanied by others, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I would be scared to go out and do things alone. I would always rely on my parents or just who I was friends with at the time. I would need to be with them in order to survive. Now that I really think about it, my social anxiety has gone down drastically to then what it was back in my teenage years and early 20s. But truly, my social anxiety used to be so terrible in the past, to the point where I was constantly thinking about what other people were thinking about me, who was looking at me in public. When all of this happens, it can really affect anything in your life. Now, I'm not just talking about like the normal minor anxiety that everybody could have. I'm talking about the type of anxiety where you feel fearful in every single situation. And what sucks about this though is that it ruins so many opportunities, because it can lead you not attending special events or saying yes to special opportunities. Now that I am getting older though, I am getting comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And now that I'm thinking about this and wanting to say it out loud, but this might be a little embarrassing for the people that are going to hear this, what used to be the most uncomfortable situations to me, not so much anymore, would be going up to a cash register lady and telling them my order. Here's the worst part, giving them eye contact. I used to hate eye contact, but eye contact is such a powerful thing, because it does play a huge role to let them know that you're actually listening and you're giving them your attention. So now you're probably wondering why. Why am I talking about why it's good to spend time alone, but then you also mentioned, which what I was saying, is to not spend too much time alone, because you do want to balance the two out. I'm not here to say that you should always be spending your time alone, even though that's my thing. Maybe it might not be yours, but that's how I recharge myself that way in order to socialize with the people that I care about and have my full attention span on them. But you guys are probably wondering, what would I do to spend time by myself? And why would I want to spend time by myself? It's made me so confident to go out in public by myself, to do things on my own without having the fear of who's looking at me. It's always good to have those days where you can reflect on yourself and, have the time to focus on you. Because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that when they are alone, they don't know what to do, or they just feel really uncomfortable because they can't be alone. But that's the time when you find what hobbies you like, and when you have the time to focus on you, you slowly begin to start loving your own company. And maybe start loving yourself, because then that way you wouldn't need the acceptance from other people or what people would think of you. So this is a TikTok that I watched a couple of weeks ago, and I had to just save it and write it down in my notes because I thought it was just something very valuable to share. And it's that energy never lies. You yourself, your body will know what's going to be right for you. And when you start getting to know yourself by spending time with yourself, like I said from the beginning, you learn to know what you like and dislike. You begin to set standards with who you want to be around that doesn't drain your energy. And this is a big one. Know how you start feeling when you finish hanging out with someone. Questions you should ask yourself is, do you feel content? Do you feel content and happy, or do you feel drained? When you start to realize the small details, you will understand that not everyone deserves access to your energy. You can almost tell when you feel is something off when you meet someone for the first time, and it's like, okay, there's a barrier between us. I feel like you are not the right fit to be in my life, but you're just there because we're having a conversation, or, you just feel something off right at that moment where you can't be around this person. So I used to tell myself this all the time, that I was introverted, but then again, I also feel like I'm in the in-between. So maybe like an extrovert/introvert. I know that when I'm around the right people, I am definitely an extrovert. But when it comes to certain situations where I know I just tell myself to take a step back, chill the fuck out, Anna, is when I just want to be a little more observant. But then I'm also introverted because I do love my peace. But when you know it's the right people that you're surrounded by, you don't have to worry about your energy being drained at all. So if you guys don't follow me on my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, you wouldn't really have an idea of the things that I like to do. But if you do know, then you know. I absolutely love my time to myself, but if I actually go out my way and make time for you, be around you and hang out with you, just know that you're someone special, because I wouldn't just go do that for anybody else. And maybe I would have my opportunities that I do say yes, and I should take it as a sign that I should make new friends and whatnot. But if we're constantly going to be seeing each other, just know that you have a special place in my heart. But moving on, this also isn't to say that we shouldn't be around other people, but finding a community. For example, I have made really good friends at this gym I go to, and I feel like I manifested this because in the very beginning of going to this gym, I told myself I need more friends in my life that like the same things that I do, and pushing each other to get up every morning and go work out, having the same goals as you, and want to be there for your success and me being there for their success, that type of thing. And I really think that I have manifested those types of people into my life. As much as people come and go into your life, every season you just have to appreciate who is in your life, because every person that you stumble upon probably is a learning lesson. But I'm going to tell you guys this story because why I think it's good to find a community that support each other is because you eventually want to have deep-rooted friendships with who you end up having in your life. So me and this one girl have recently, after 2 years of knowing each other and working out at the same gym and working out every single day, we just started actually hanging outside of the gym. And it is a whole different world out there between the both of us. And it's almost like we're the opposite, but we have fun. As much as we love working out and, moving our bodies, we realize we also have different goals that we want to pursue that we just didn't really talk about it until we started hanging outside of the gym. And this is when you know that you're starting to be confident in different ways because you've made a new friend. You are opening up to a person that you once never knew, and maybe they're bringing out your confidence that was blocking you and made you realize that you are more than what you think you are. And all of us are all going through a self-love and healing journey because we're all going through things that people might not know, and we're all battling things that happened in our past. And this is why I love sharing my self-love and healing journey, because it all started with just taking care of myself and spending time with myself. So if I didn't have the courage to do the things that I wanted to do, I wouldn't be where I am right now. There's another episode where I talked about feeling so lost when I had so many friends, and maybe I should cover more of a topic on that, where even when I did have a lot of friends at the time, I felt lonely. But I used to feel so lost when I had a big group of friends back in the time. I felt like I wasn't in my own body. Now that I think about it, when I did have a bunch of people around, or when I did rely on a bunch of people or my parents, I was scared to make choices for myself. So that's a really big thing when it comes to being independent. You can't be codependent and think that you have everything figured out, because once you step your foot out that door and have to be responsible for things that you need to do on your own, no one's going to be there to save your ass. And when I did have a bunch of friends at that time and I wanted to do things that I kind of was interested in, it wasn't their type of fun. So I never got to do it because I didn't have the courage to go out and do things like that on my own when I could have done that. Also, before I continue on this podcast, my skip the dishes driver is just coming to bring my ice cream and my apple pie. I'm already like more than halfway through this podcast right now. So we will see how far I can finish this podcast episode even after my apple pie and ice cream gets here, because I thought that would have been such a vibe where I can chill out, be a fat ass, and just eat in my egg chair while I talk to you guys. That would just have been such a vibe. But let's see where he is right now. Sequinder is picking up your order from McDonald's, so we don't know how long that's gonna take. And it's 12:55. Oh my God. Guys, it's past my bedtime. It's way past my bedtime. Water break. Water break. Gonna try and save some time by slowly drinking my water. Let's just continue on. Now that I'm 25, I have been learning so much about myself over these past few years. Now that I'm in my mid-20s, our brain is just slowly developing and consciously creating a system for ourselves with what we should truly know and what our boundaries should look like. But even then, I feel like being in your 20s is a very awkward, lost, and blurry time for all of us because we don't know what the fuck we are doing. And I have heard that 30s is the new 20s because people in their 30s could be thriving right now, and it just makes me more excited that way, knowing that I don't have to be scared when I'm getting older and growing up and being in my 30s. Anyways, I'm learning about myself now than ever before is because I truly know my likes and dislikes. I know what inspires me. And if you guys don't know, I am a full-time content creator. So my whole day is constantly on social media and scrolling through the feed of people who I follow. So I like to make sure that I am getting inspired by people that I follow. And if it's someone that, I might have a tendency of thinking that it might not motivate me, or their post doesn't motivate me, or it's just something that I don't relate to anymore, unfollow them. Because what's the point of having this person on your phone when they could be draining your energy and you didn't even know? So use social media as a tool. Don't use social media as your best friend for entertainment purposes. And I know I shouldn't be talking, but for the most part, I do use social media as inspiration and motivation. But this all goes down to self-control and learning how to master yourself by not being on your phone and scrolling. So that's another thing is if you don't have self-control, you don't have the discipline to get off your phone or to be doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, that's something that you would have to fix and break that habit. But something that I've also learned is that if I'm going to be wanting to do something, even if it may be a little weird to be doing it by yourself out in public, I'm going to do it. I don't want to be waiting for other people because they might be hesitant on doing that thing. If someone canceled plans on me, I'm not gonna beg to try and hang out with them. There's always another time that could happen. So if they did ever cancel plans with you and it was supposed to be a really fun day, say fuck it and go do it yourself. Guys, I could sleep in this chair. It's 1:04 in the morning. I'm really out here living my best life. I just need my apple pie, my ice cream. I'm good to go. I can chill out and just hang out with you guys. I feel like I should do another podcast like this during the nighttime because it is a different vibe. And my voice is getting raspy. And it's probably because I just need to shut the fuck up and go to bed. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that right now, okay? I still need my food. If I really wanted to not film, I'd probably just be in my underwear right now with my hoodie on and not give a single fuck. But since I am filming, I'm going to have to put some shorts on because let's keep it PG so I can upload this on YouTube. Let's situate myself here because maybe it looks like on camera that my coochie is showing and I don't want that. Okay. Even when you're alone but wanting to be surrounded by other people, go find some workshop classes in your local area and make some friends. This is one of my goals for next year actually, is to join a workshop class by myself or even bring a friend, but wanting to be surrounded by new people and being part of a new atmosphere where I can be confident in new environments and learn something new. And maybe if I end up liking that hobby, that's something that I can take on for who knows, however long I want to like that hobby for. And if I don't like it, then I can move on. And you're not limited to how you should be spending your time alone, because there are so many ways and opportunities that are right in front of you that you can try. The last thing you want is regretting something you wanted to do and then not getting the chance to do it. So now I feel like I should tell you guys some of the things that, I do by myself, or the things that I have achieved alone that has made me confident and positive. So if you guys can't tell by my content, I like to go to different cafes or maybe the same cafe and do my own work there. But that has been one of the things that I have achieved that made me feel more confident and being your own comfort person, by knowing that you're going to be safe in new places that you've never been to. And going to cafe shops really helped me romanticize my life, because it makes me feel like I am the main character in these very social situations where you're surrounded by people but they don't know you. You can just pretend like you're living lavishly and everyone's there for you. But that's just also me being Delulu. So be that confident bitch and, strut in that cafe shop if you want. And get dressed up, look cute, and look cute for yourself. Workout classes. Oh, my ice cream's here, guys. I'm gonna go grab my apple pie and ice cream. Be right back. But we're gonna continue on this episode. Okay, so I just got out of my chair. I made myself a little bowl of ice cream and apple pie. But if you guys are watching, I want you guys to look at this right now, just in case you are distracted and you aren't watching the screen. But look at this aesthetic bowl that I got from the thrift store. Isn't that the cutest thing you've ever seen? Okay. So there's my apple pie. There's my ice cream. I am ready to keep continuing on this podcast episode. Okay, let's have a bite. I think I was talking about workout classes. Or was I past that? I don't think I was. Okay, so workout classes. I feel like it's such a big thing, especially if you're going into a class that everybody in that room is interested in doing, or it's just something that they wanted to try out. But who knows? What if you end up making a friend in there after going for a month and you realize that same person has been going in there the same time as you, going every single week, and you've just been itching to wanting to know their name and become friends with them? It's just a really good way to make friends that way if it's really hard for you to make friends or have any friends if you're not in school or anything. Because let's be honest here. I feel like now that we're in adulthood, for the people that, could be relating to me, that's 25 or not in school or maybe in school, but you could be relating in a way where your only friends are your work friends, or your only friends are your school friends, and you don't have any other friends outside of that. Those are just other ways to make or meet new people if you're into working out or anything like that. I feel like we're in that era now where we're all listening to podcasts these days, and a really good way to step outside of your comfort zone and being confident is by going out for nature walks and going on your hot girl walk while listening to an inspirational podcast. If you haven't hopped on that boat and you're thinking, oh wait, that might be a really good idea, why didn't I think of that? Girl, where have you been? Where have you been? This is one of my favorite things to do, especially in my downtime or whenever I need to do to get what I need, and I have to do it by myself, is going to the grocery store. I don't know about you, but I make going to the grocery store the most therapeutic thing for me. And people might hate it just because they want to get in and out of there. But if you just dress cute, put on a cute matching set, since it is winter here now, wear a cute winter jacket with your boots, with your Uggs, whatever you have, and make the grocery store your runway, your fashion runway. Who said that you need to be going in there and dreading and hating your life? Now, this is what I should have done tonight, but since I am making this podcast episode for you guys, having self-care nights is literally chef's kiss. You don't have to worry about anything else. You have no worries in the world because you are just putting in the effort to wind down and have that time to yourself. And when you have those self-care nights, be selfish. Turn your phone off, put it on Do Not Disturb, wear your red light mask if you have one. Turn that red light on in your room. Could be a Himalayan salt lamp or like one of those night lights that's red light, and turn that on. Wear a face mask, put an eye mask on, turn the diffuser on, do everything in your power to just thrive in that moment, being the main character. I'm done with my apple pie and ice cream. That was really good. One thing that I've also learned, that if you're not a person that likes to go out often, but you're wanting to spend time with the people you care about, I like to host gatherings at my place, and I don't do it often, and I really want to start hosting more girls' night, cousins' night, and whatever the case may be, but I just want to have more memories like that. You could also be just like me and invite people over, cook dinner together. And that's what just also made me positive, because I'm being around people that I do want to be around. And you guys will learn that in the long run, where eventually you're going to want to be more socializing when you do have the right people in your life. This is one of my favorites, is by going into a bookstore and getting lost in the books. So I go to this one bookstore, and this guy, this old man, I've been in there quite a few times now, where he recognizes my face and he knows what types of books I like, and he recommends books that I would read. So whenever I go into that bookstore, I make sure that, I want to keep a simple conversation with him, and actually having a conversation with someone to improve my social skills. Because at that point, if we do tend to be by ourselves a lot and spending time alone too much, we don't want to be isolating ourselves, because that could be happening without you even knowing. So just know the difference of why you should be spending that time alone to yourself, and just getting the benefits out of it and learning more about yourself that way. So this is a question I get a lot on my TikTok comments, and it's so funny because people would be like, how are you alone right now when someone else is recording you? Guys, there's this thing called a tripod, or there's this thing called angles or walls that you could put your phone up against. And I feel like I have just this vision. I have this eye of what looks good and what doesn't. And in this case, I know what angles look good when I record videos. So when you guys see me posting spending time alone at a cafe or a bookstore or going for walks, for the most part, I just have my phone somewhere that's up against something. Why I'm saying this is because when I record myself, I get uncomfortable. And when I get uncomfortable, this is helping me to get out of my comfort zone. And it's nerve-wracking. Okay, when people are staring at you, or when you think that people are staring at you, you're just thinking about pressing that record button and you think all eyes are on you. Trust me, there could just be someone that's glancing over because, they're just eyeing the room, or, they're just seeing what you're doing. At the end of the day, they're not going to give a single fuck about you, and just record that moment if you want to. What I have been doing, or just something that I feel like is important, is to have solo trips. A few years ago, I actually took a solo trip to Banff, and I was going to do it this year, but just so many things have been coming up, and I've been so busy where I just couldn't have it planned to do a solo trip. Or I was thinking to do a solo trip to Bali, but we will see, because I do have a lot of travel plans for next year. Ever since I got my passport, guys, just giving you guys an update, but I got my passport after 2 years, and I'm finally going on trips because I just decided, okay, I'm wasting my life away if I'm not, wanting to go to these destinations when I have the time to. So I said, fuck it, might as well get my passport, and I could take advantage of this now because I could fly wherever I want. And these trips that I'm going to will be with people, but I can also do things on my own while I'm there. I could split up with people and I can go to somewhere else and meet them later on. Or I can sit by the beach and hang out by myself while others are out and about doing their own thing. But you know what? I could tell them that you go do your own thing. I'm gonna just lay here by the beach and chill out because I can. If I do plan to go on this Bali trip, I really want to be doing a retreat, and that's something that I think I want to add to my bucket list, is by doing like a sisterhood retreat. And it would just be such a good time, fun little journaling moments, and getting over our past trauma and screaming to the world. I have seen that on TikTok. It makes me so emotional because I want to be there. So another list I had in mind, because I didn't want to just tell you guys what I personally do, but I wanted to give you guys some things that you could be doing on your own time. If some of the things I said you necessarily wouldn't agree on, or you're maybe too hesitant on doing still, but maybe some things that I haven't mentioned would maybe going for a long drive, or taking the back road and listening to some good tunes as you're driving back home. Taking the long way home. This might be simple, or maybe you're not a baker, but bake something. If you're craving something, bake yourself some banana bread. Good comfort, sweet treats that you haven't treated yourself in a long time. Maybe try something new for once and do it yourself. This is one of my favorites. I should have mentioned this, but buy yourself some flowers. Even if you're a guy, why not buy yourself some flowers? Make yourself feel good. Add some color into your room, your apartment. Make the place more vibrant. Some other things you can do that you could spend time with yourself is by doing some DIY crafts or making yourself bracelets. This is one thing that my cousin does, and it's something that I kind of want to get into, but I feel like I wouldn't be the best at it, but I can learn from her. But she crochets, and that's kind of a slay. Or you can even do some DIY bookmarks. I've seen a lot on Pinterest lately of people just making these cute little bookmarks. If you're a reader, or if you're not a reader, go pick up a book, buy yourself some flowers, make a cute DIY bookmark. You are set for the whole day. You're going out to buy yourself flowers, maybe some coffee, maybe buying yourself a new book at the bookstore. Oh my gosh, this sounds like my day. And then going home for the evening and baking yourself banana bread. And while that's baking, you're making yourself a bookmark. Oh my gosh. Guys, did I just plan out my whole day ahead for this weekend? Maybe. Another good one is just by learning a new hobby by yourself. Like I said, I don't know how to crochet, but I can friggin' learn. And you could turn that hobby into maybe a passion, or turn that hobby into a business and sell that. This is a very Anna type of thing to do, is watch the sunset alone and read a book. Maybe go grab yourself a coffee, watch the sunset, and read a book. Maybe do some journaling. Journal your thoughts. Journal how grateful you are. Journal about how amazing your life is, even when it doesn't seem amazing at that moment and you feel like your life is just shitty or your day has been shitty. Just journal pretending like you have everything figured out, because you could be manifesting that into thinking that the life you want is already yours. Something you can do in the evenings or in the mornings when you start your day is by doing a little yoga meditation session. We need to normalize meditating more. I don't care if you say you don't have the time for it, because honey, if it's important to you, then you're gonna make time for it. And that's all I can really tell you. One thing that I haven't done since a year ago, because my little bath board or whatever, it doesn't have the balance to balance on one side because it just tips over. So I don't have my luxury bath times anymore. But one thing to do is just taking a bath. And it has been scientifically proven that it does put you in a relaxed state. And I feel like for everybody out there who still lives at home, when you want to spend time with yourself is by redecorating your room and, switch things up. Put your bed into another area in your room, in another corner, or in the middle of your room. Just keep doing things for yourself that make you happy. Now, here is the big thing before I really end off this podcast episode, but you might be asking, Anna, I want to do all of these things, but I don't want to feel lonely. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, learning to be doing things on your own is a powerful tool. So once you learn how to master that, you won't ever feel the need to be in that emotional state of being lonely. So I know it may be difficult and confusing in times like these where you don't know exactly what you're doing, but I hope this podcast episode gave you a little bit more clarity, because I know we're all going through something, and I know it's going to be hard, especially when you're alone and you're thinking all these intrusive thoughts and thinking about thoughts that you don't ever want to think about. But like I said, there's always different ways to be alone but still be with people. And it's just finding your community with wherever you feel like you get that sense of comfort from your favorite hobby. Let me know your thoughts about these nighttime podcast episodes, because it really does feel personal, especially you're doing this at night and all these thoughts are running through my head of making it seem like it's just late night talks with your best friend. But if you did enjoy this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, because it really does help with the show and for new people out there that might have interest in listening to a podcast like this. Share this podcast with anyone you know or put it on your story, because I do want to see the people who listen to it. I love y'all so much. So stay tuned for the next podcast episode, because it's just going to keep getting better and better.